least once a century. Welcome, one and all, to the 187th edition of the Black Lincoln Collective Podcast, the official podcast of official podcasts. We are proudly broadcasting live from the palatial EC studios, scattered all across the upstate of South Carolina. And you can probably am catching us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and all your favorite podcast platforms. And of course, America's favorite podcast.com. And now it's the guy with the biggest dumps. It's Fred.
He got the biggest dumps. This guy over here.
Dumps are huge.
Call them dumps. Big
dumps. His asshole can stretch 3 times the size of it is.
That's why I need to know where all the porta potties are. Welcome to the show, Fred.
Thank you. Thank you.
No one understood that last thing I said except you, Jim.
They will. They will all recognize one day.
Yep.
And the guy who's got the apps that'll make you slap.
Oh.
Chris Rock. Alan OTB.
Hey.
Thank you.
Oh, your sound seems waggy. I'm not hearing your sound effects very well, but that's okay. That's not something we do before the show. We just do it live. We'll do it live.
Let it run.
Well, Fred, speaking of doing it live, sometimes, those are the moments, Fred, in life.
Yep.
Like what we just experienced with Alan's not doing a good job. It's something that you can only experience live, Fred.
Yep.
And there are other things in life that you have to experience live to really, truly appreciate them. And if you're not paying attention and you don't have your head on a swivel, you're going to miss things like this.
You're going to miss it.
And your life won't be richer for it. Let me just say that.
You got to stop and smell the roses sometimes.
Sometimes you got to stop and smell the titties, Fred. So let me get a little new segment for you, and hopefully that we don't have this very often. It's Fred's Titty Tales.
These are the tales, the titty tales. These are the tales that I tell so well. Yeah, so, I got a titty tale. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure like this happens a lot.
Happens all the time, probably. I don't know what happened, so I'm sure it happens all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to me often, but I'm just doing my job the other day. I mostly like 95% of my job is driving,
saving lives.
So I'm driving down the road, and I'm in this little suburban neighborhood, and it's springtime, and it's nice outside, and people are working in their flower beds and gardens. And before I say this, ladies and gentlemen, I'm no more of a pervert than the average man.
Any other man. Yeah. Okay. So,
man. Yeah. I'm not
we'll clear that up. Listen, ladies.
That's what perverts say.
No. Because that's what I don't want to be. I don't want this to come off like I'm just out there like corn dog.
Right. No. What all listeners and especially ladies need to understand is that guys aren't necessarily perverts, but we will take advantage of situations. Not in like a bad way.
A bad pervy way, but
right.
Exactly. So I was driving down the street, like I said, suburban residential neighborhood, and there's this woman, and I couldn't see her face because she was bun over. She's bun over with her ass pointing to the road. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And
just like those cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, being a person with eyes, you know what I'm saying? I just happened to see.
You're talking about Alan?
I'm like, I was like, look at this lady over here. She's face down, ass
up. Yeah. That's the way Fred likes to locate.
That's it. And so, I was just like, I checked her out, and I glanced over and then glanced back at the road, and
sure.
Her house was the last house next to a stoplight.
Okay.
So now I'm sitting at the stoplight, and she's right there, and just having to, glance over again.
You got a little time on your hands.
She had a very loose shirt on.
Well, that happens sometimes. In the heat.
I could see. I was like, oh my God, she's got
Is that a
mommy milk is hanging, you know what I mean?
Down shirt?
Well, if you see titties, you're gonna
I
look.
guess it would be a up. I mean, I could not
Because you have an
help
up
it, and I-
skirt, like which is
You're right,
perverted.
yeah,
Make no mistake, we're not condoning any of this.
no.
But
For my sake, I wish to God she'd had a bra on.
right.
And now I wouldn't have felt so bad about
Afterwards.
like
yeah.
zeroing in on her
And going back
something.
by 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Circling around the block.
The light changed like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. I'm just checking on my computer.
I'm stuck there, man.
Yeah, he just like turn the car around on the opposite lane. You know, looking at the computer. You know?
Exactly. For 3 hours.
I mean, I couldn't help it. I did one of those like double takes, you know.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you
I
don't
was like, what? Oh, what?
you don't see those natively in the wild very often.
No, you don't. You don't. Usually,
And it was a perfectly innocent situation.
right. Yeah, and I didn't like.
Right. You weren't like trying
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't-
right.
Okay, now was it like a nice
If anything,
round?
she
titty?
made me feel uncomfortable.
I mean,
Right.
was it a
Inappropriate.
nice round one, or was it like a beaver tail?
No. This was upscale. This was like
Right.
what do you call it?
Man-made.
Above what do you call it? Like upper middle class.
Right.
Yeah, these were upper middle class mom boots. Yeah,
This is high quality titties.
Yeah,
high
these
quality
are-
titties. High quality titties.
These some high quality titties right here, man. They were. She was bent over and they were standing up. If
Right.
that tells you anything, yeah.
They were pointing straight up in the air. She was bent over on her knees and her
Yeah.
straight up in the air. That's all you need to know, Alan. That's perky. So,
Yeah.
well, okay. So you saw it,
Yeah.
and you felt. Did you say you felt a little guilty about it?
Yeah, I
afterwards?
did. You know what I'm saying? Because you know,
got a
it's-
conscience.
I do. You know what I mean? And I'm not
No.
trying to make anybody feel uncomfortable. You know what I
Did you
mean?
go back by and drop like $3 on her front yard?
Honey, some guy just thrown a crumpled up $1
You're
bill
like,
at
I feel
me.
better
Yeah. Help and pay to get through college. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, put that on the house note. You know what I mean?
That's right. So,
Yeah.
well, you
Yeah,
know,
so
I mean,
you know, that was it. You know what I mean? But
that's
it
a
was
gift
interesting
from-
enough that I had to share it with you.
Well, it
guys.
doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
No,
Like
That's
I
a
say,
gift from the
usually.
heavens when for
Yeah.
you.
I mean, I am
No
a
one
titty
was
man.
hurt.
I do love a good titty.
She got her
Yeah.
yard work.
Right. And
You got your work
Oh, was it
done.
one titty or two?
no, I saw both of them.
It was
All right, yeah. All
You
right.
can't just
I
see
saw the mountains and
No,
the
because
valley.
sometimes you
If
see
it was,
one.
was it okay? So I feel like, oh god, see, the '80s really romanticized this. I think
Titties.
for us, like
What?
down.
No,
No,
don't blame
Like-
the '80s for something good. That was good. Titties. Are
no,
good.
I'm not against it. I'm just saying, I feel like in the '80s, looking down a shirt or in this situation up a shirt
Yeah.
was a more normal thing than it is now.
Yeah,
Like, it was
yeah,
more
yeah,
tolerated.
Right.
But
Yeah.
because of the '80s and every
And the-
'80s movie, I
yeah.
feel like she was wearing a white button-up shirt with blue stripes and long sleeves that were rolled up.
Yeah. With Stacy's mom playing in the background.
That's the one-
no.
That's what I see in my head. And now I'm just probably wrong, but
Yeah, no, it was like an old tattered Michigan State jersey or
Oh, well,
shirt or
she's a Spartan,
t-shirt or
so there you
something.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
hey, those are details that are important.
Yeah.
When Fred potentially accesses that information later,
Right.
that's going to be
Yeah,
important to his
like-
brain.
Yeah. It's in the bank.
Go Spartans.
You know, he's like, it's a Spartan party.
Sparta.
Exactly.
He's like, it's in the bank.
Yeah,
Fred-
it's
Bank,
bad.
bank.
Exactly. I know that's what he was locked in. He was like,
So-
after 3 hours, it was locked in. Well, but you didn't do anything perverted. You didn't.
No,
like
I
said,
didn't- I
you didn't stop and take a picture, did you?
Right. No, I did not.
You can shake your head. Your eyes are saying yes, even though your face is saying no.
I wouldn't do that. That's
No, no.
terrible.
No, I know that's not a good thing to do. But
Yeah.
See, so it all worked out great, Fred.
Yeah, it did. It did.
So there you go. That's what happens
did.
when you just catch a titty sometimes. That's
You know, sometimes you work hard.
That's what a theme on this show.
Life
Get
little
rewarded.
pleasures.
You got
Yeah.
rewarded for working hard.
Working hard, paying attention. Hey, it's everybody candy.
Like, this guy looks like he's about to rage quit. I'm gonna give him something to work for.
Yeah.
Something to stay out of here for. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know, but like you said, man, that's what happens when you keep your eyes up and you keep
titties.
and keep
That's
focusing
it.
on the Lord.
That's it. No. He blesses you.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, hey, all right.
You
Good
bless me
job.
twofold.
Here's one.
Twofold.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. So now you know. Well, Fred, I'm glad that you got to enjoy the show.
Yeah,
I
did.
had an experience this week too,
Did you?
and yeah, it wasn't as fun as yours,
Well, you saw
but
it.
it was significantly longer.
Yeah.
So, hooray for that!
Like a guy was gardening and it was hanging out the bottom of his shorts.
Yep, it was all balls. And I was like, are those titties? I was like, nope, just an old ball sack.
Those are balls.
Just a really old one that's just brushing the top of the grass.
Why does that woman
Even though
have
he's wearing
balls?
pants. Even though he's wearing pants, it's brushing the top of the grass, just hanging out. So, well, Fred, I got chosen, and I will. There's certain, I guess, details that I have to leave out for legal reasons. But I was one of the lucky few that got chosen to do a focus group for
Focus.
poop
Focus.
power. Poop power.
Focus.
Yeah.
Poop
And
hour?
so
Focus.
they were like, "Hey,
Power.
want to make $200 in 2.5 hours?" And I was like, "Well,
Really?
I only know one way to do that." And they're like, "No, a focus group." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I haven't done that shit since college.
Yeah." I was like, "Oh,
Allegedly.
all right, I'll try that."
Who's titty I gotta suck?
Yeah, I was like, "Here we go again." Sure, and I started pulling down my pants. They're like, "No, that's not till the end."
They're like, get up.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, "Well, hold on a second." No, so
we're doing that through the bill.
that's right. Yeah, so a somewhat local, semi-national brand was like, "Hey, would you like to spend some time on Friday, hang out with us and do a survey?" And I was like, "Sure, you know what? I love to, because if I am nothing else, Fred, I am the average American at heart."
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you my opinion. My opinion is not that favorable of you. So let's see how that works."
Yeah.
Knowing that, like, you have to, well, okay, so this is the first time I'd ever done this. Have either one of you guys ever done like one of these things? I did one for like a show at Universal.
Young. Yeah, that's I think.
Yeah,
like
I remember
that.
we did the one at
Something like that.
Universal.
Yeah,
We did that.
where they
we did
watched
that
the
one
show
together.
and it was like,
Right.
funny or not, but that was like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it's
Right.
just,
Yeah.
that should
'cause
get
they don't want to take up
I think
your
it
whole
had Ben
day.
Savage in it, didn't it?
it had Richard Dreyfuss in it.
It might, yeah.
And
Really?
somebody,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's
There was a dog in it too. There was a dog.
No,
in it.
I did one in Universal for Cat Dog, and I loved it. I was like,
yeah.
yeah. I did it at
Cat
Nickelodeon
Dog.
Studios,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I was like, this is
Well,
the best thing ever.
But they did the same thing where they're like, "Hey, you want to make like $20 real quick? Come do this."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so you're like, "Cool."
Yeah.
Well, so this one, like I said, was like $200. And they're like, "It's 2.5 hours." I was like, "Yeah, I can swing that. Like, that's why not?"
Yeah.
I got some time to spare. So like I went and got there, and like they're like, "All right." I had never done this before, like I said. So nothing to this level, at least. So I get there, and they're like, "Okay, there's two people sitting there." I'm like, "Hi," and they're like, "Hello, what's your name?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Hey, it's Matt," and I go to get my ID. They're like, "We don't care about if you're really who you say you are." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. I don't really care. This is gonna be fun."
Could I be Tony?
Yeah, I'm like, call me
Tony then.
Pook Power.
Yeah.
Could have Googled who the owner of Pook Power was and been like, "That's me.
Yeah.
Undercover boss your asses. Suck on that."
Yeah.
But so I get there, and they're like, "Yeah, just take this humongous stack of papers and go fill it out." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So they did like a thing where you get an incentive, because it's all about the incentives. They got to make sure they get enough people, I guess, to do it. So they're like, if you get here before, I think it was 12:45. The thing started at 1. It was 12:50. Start at 1. So like, if you get here before 12:50, we'll slap an extra $25 in your bucket. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll just do that. So
Show
I
up
mean,
at
they're
11
incentivizing
o'clock.
you to show up.
Yeah.
So I showed up. I was there right like 12:45, whatever. And they're like, yeah, fill the thing out. So I go in, sit down. It's like 20. I think I counted 26 people. And I was like, okay, because I like to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
You never know. Never know if a titty's gonna pop out. And so I was like, well, just get a quick gander.
Almost like $4,000 for the damn.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if I rob this place, how much would I get?
Yeah.
And then like,
was it cash?
Yeah, because it was all cash. Yeah.
Cash money?
Yeah, dude, 100%. Unmarked bills.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really know how they mark bills, but if I did know, I'm pretty sure these were unmarked. So do the thing, and like it is exactly what I would think of a focus group. It's like people from all different walks of life. And so I'm like, okay, well, where do I slot in here? Am I middle-aged white guy, or am I like fat guy? And I'm like, well, no, because there's some other guys who are fatter than me. And there's lots of middle-aged white guys in here, none of which had gorgeous head of hair like me. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm just kind of representative of like general white guy.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm cool with it. That's kind of my lot.
You should have been like, I'm a podcaster.
That's right. I know. I told everybody about it. I told them, I said, Poop Energy. Listen to my podcast if you want to hear about this. And they're like, we will literally kill you if you don't talk about this. literally, that was like there's like a non-disclosure and all this stuff. But I'm not gonna, like I said, we're not naming specific names.
No.
Yeah, no.
So, and I'm not like gonna sell out their amazing products, which I mean, whatever. They sell one product.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they sell a bunch of products.
No, they sell one. Shut up, Alan. You're gonna get me sued, bro. You get this whole show sued immediately. So we get in there. There's like I said, there's all different walks of life. Younger people, older people, angrier, a lot of angrier people. You could tell right off the get. But walking in, I was like, "Ooh, this could be there's gonna be."
So they were people angrier than you.
I wasn't that angry going in. I was excited.
No, you're always angry. Even though you act excited, you're angry.
I was a little angry, of course. But so I get there and I'm like, okay, cool. And then there's like these two people walk in, these two girls, like younger girls, and they sit down at their table and start taking selfies. And like everybody else is like working away, and I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. Like, this is not gonna be good. Because they're like, they come in and talk to you, they're like, hey, this needs to be done by now. You can use your phones now or whatever, but once we get into the thing, we ask that you turn them off so we can have like focus on the thing. Yeah, on the group. Focus on the group. And so we're like, okay, yeah, and so we're like, okay, cool, and that's what we do. So like we go through and then we like fill it out, and they're like, okay, everybody's done. You like, we're gonna call your name. You go to the other room, right, or whatever. Or no, they're like, okay, everybody go to the other room. And then we're walking out, and they're like, Suzanne B and Mike Huckleberry or whatever, you guys hold on a second. And everybody was like, ooh, because we're all children,
Yeah.
And they're like, no, don't worry, they're not in trouble. Guess what? We never saw their asses again. So
they got murdered.
I assumed that they were like the people who were probably, I guess you would like considered alternates or whatever. But then that brought me a whole thing. Did they get paid for their
they probably did
like a little bit?
Yeah, they got paid.
Yeah, I'm sure they got something. But
or unless they were the decoys to come in there and figure out what was what.
So we get in, we go from there, and they're like, all right, 2 minutes to go. You can go potty, whatever you need to do. Go to the other thing, right? Okay, so we get into the other room, and they're like, it's like it goes from like the classroom to like the interrogation room. So the other room was just tables and chairs, like it was relaxed, there were lots of space and everything. You come in this room, there are cameras set up everywhere. There are people behind, like 4 people behind computers, TV set up, like microphones, all this stuff.
Was there the big mirror?
No big mirror.
They
didn't have the two-way mirror. But they were like, don't pay attention to this. And I'm like, okay.
Boo.
Yeah, well,
every time I answer, I look at the question. Oh, me?
You're like,
yeah. I think that
here's what's crazy. So they're like, every time you answered a question, there was a guy who stuck a camera in your face.
Really?
Like he would just like roar. He had like a camera on a stick, and he'd be like, all right, your turn. And you're like, I 8. Because some of the questions were like 1 to 10, you know, and I'm like, 7.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right. And then he like swoops over to the next person. I'm like, this is kind of weird, kind of cool, kind of weird. So we get in there and like immediately you can tell there's a couple people who are gonna be problems.
Yeah.
In like a little bit in a good way, a little bit in a bad way, right? So
they be on pass, dude.
oh dude, I was excited because I got to sit in the back row. And that makes me happy. As a tall guy, as a big guy, I like the back row. It's just, I preferable. So, but seated beside me was a lady who made me look like Captain America before he got strong. So,
oh wow,
yeah, and I was like, okay, this lady.
Did you do? Damn, that's a huge bitch.
No, I did not, because I wanted my money, Fred. At this point, I could see the finish line. I was like, I need this money.
Yeah,
I don't want to get kicked out.
I
don't want to suffer the same fate as Juanita and whatever Michael Staravos or whatever his name was, and Michael Cantaloupe. I don't know his name. It's fucking some kid. But so I'm like, okay. So we sit down and everything. And they're like, all right, everybody's got their stuff with them. I'm like, okay. And they're like, all right, listen up. Focus group. We got a lot to go through. We'll get this shit knocked out. Everybody we want to know what you think, but we want to know in the shortest possible way. Right?
You suck.
And it makes sense. Like there's a lot of people. There's 24 people now. So they cut down 2. And very Hunger Games-esque, by the way. I like that.
Right.
Kind of felt like Squid Game a little bit. But so except because I'm like, the money's up there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's in the TV. So but so they're like, okay, so just like, boom, just knock it out. We're gonna take all your papers so we can read all this shit later. And I'm like, we can't read mine because my handwriting is atrocious. And so you're never gonna get the information from me. But so they're like, just let's just keep it like boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay, great. And first question they asked, nope. First lady, so right off the gate, and like I said, I'm in the back. There's 2 sections. I'm in the back. So I'm like, we're going to be halfway either way. Right. So first lady's like, well, I like this about, and just on and on and on.
Oh,
and I'm like, oh, this is going to suck.
Shortest answer possible.
Shortest answer. And so it gets around and around, and people are starting like, it's always that first one who goes too long. And then everybody else is like, okay.
Yeah.
No, not most people who are paying attention who aren't idiots are like, okay, I'm going to go as quick as I can. Right.
Right.
And so like, of course, that's what we do. And so then it's like, boom, boom, is starting to speed up. Great. It gets to the lady beside me, the very
like
large lady.
There was a lady. Yes. The lady, who, when they're like, so what do you think? Because the first one was like, what's your general, like overall impression of poop dower, or whatever. So she's like, well, and I was like, oh shit. Before she even said a second word, I was like, damn it. Here we go. Like, well,
you hear that well.
Oh,
yeah, when they start with well, you're fucked.
And a long one. The longer the well, the longer the story.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. And she's like, well, my husband, I was like, here, fuck. Like, when he had COVID, I was like, every box is getting hit.
Oh my
like, G is hitting every fucking, please forgive my bill box that Duke Power has.
No, the poop power.
I'm poop powered. I didn't say Duke Power. Dookie Power.
Yeah.
Dookie Bowers. So anyway, well, I don't know. No, we won't. But
Dookie Power.
That's right. So the Dookie was everywhere. And she's just like, oh, blah 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 blah, and like, oh, forever and emotions. And it was just like, oh, this sucks. I was like, this. So it gets to me. I'm next. And I'm like, pretty good. Like, we're pretty good with me. You're pretty good with me. And like, okay, cool. And like, on we go.
Lying.
Like, I don't need.
You're lying. You went.
No, I wrote what I said. No, what I said. Well, no, because my general impression of them, other than like the money thing, is pretty decent. They did all right. So anyway, so it gets around, and there's one gentleman. So, most of these people are pretty, I don't want to say forgettable, because I don't think anybody is forgettable as a person. But most of the people are not the kind of people that you're like, oh, that person stands out in a crowd. You know, like in the Matrix, when like Neo's walking down the street and like everybody's like in black, and then there's the one red dress person. Yeah.
The one
and like that's what you remember, right? Yeah.
So
our red dress person.
Take a look again.
Was named Keith. His name was Keith. And Keith showed up in a 3-piece suit with a matching hat.
No, it wasn't a fedora.
And it was fucking glorious. Yes, it was a fedora. And like it wasn't just like a brown suit or a black. It was like a suit that had like fleur lace shit all over. He was super gay, which that's great. I love that. And you could tell just from the way he was sitting that he came to cause trouble. And he fucking did, dude. Everything that they were like, so Keith, what do you think about, like I said, what's your general impression? He's like, well, generally, I think you're pieces of shit. And I'm like, right off the get. Like, Keith does not give a shit about this.
Come on, man. It's at a city council meeting.
No, but he was like, dude, he went for it.
He went for it.
Every chance they got to talk to him, he's just like, dude, no, I hate you because of this. I hate you because of this. But then, like, and so their big thing, because again, they're like, oh, hey, the service that we offer is like, it's like 30% cheaper than the average cost of this service across the USA. And so, like, they're trying to, and people are like, okay, who fucking cares? Where we live, we make the least money. So that's not good. Like, they're like, that doesn't really sell it for me, bro. And
plus, you're a monopoly. It's not like I can go somewhere else and be like, hey, I don't like your service. I want the other guy. You can't do that because you don't have it.
Oh no, trust me, Keith told him all about that and every other thing he could. Well, so it goes on and on and on, and they're just like, we're just plowing through this thing. It's like a 10-page questionnaire, right? We're plowing through it, and it wasn't really that bad. Like, it was interesting to me because you see the perspectives of all the other people, some of which are completely insane, and some of which are like, okay, I guess I get where that guy's coming from, and some were just crazy. Some, because one lady was like, I'm just mad that you turned off my power after the hurricane, and they're like, the power went off after the hurricane because of the hurricane damage. And she's like, but it didn't come on for like 6 days. And they're like, yes, we tried to do the power. And they're like, but the rich neighborhoods got their power back. And they're like, well, the rich neighborhoods generally have underground power lines, which cause, and they're just like, and she's just, and just like all, and I'm like, she's right.
Yeah.
But still, and then there's a lady who's like old as fuck. And she's like, and she kept saying like, I'm old. And I remember, and I'm just like, oh,
I remember when Pepperidge Farm was out there.
She's like, I remember when energy was made from a donkey's ass.
Yeah, you had to stand outside with a long steel rod.
That's right. You just held it up for hours. And sometimes your neighbor would come by and they'd see a titty. And that would electrocute the whole town. So, but anyway, so it went on. It went on for quite a while. All in all, pretty great experience, really. I really don't have anything bad to say about it, except for like I said, it got to the point toward the end where you're just like, okay, like let's get this thing going.
Give it back to him.
Yeah, I mean, so I was like,
doing my bills. Yeah.
Well, so the people who ran the thing immediately and continually reiterated, we do not work for Duke Power.
Poop power.
Poop
power.
I
gotta, I can make you do some work this weekend. I'll do it. Don't worry. But they're like, we don't work, they're like, we don't work for Poop Power. We don't work. We work for whatever FG
RG Reynolds
or whatever,
which is
focus
just
group
a subsidiary of Poop Power.
It's which is owned by exactly, the sister company of Poop Power.
Yeah.
But so like people are just complaining about this stuff, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is great. This is what life's about. This is what America. This is what brings America together. Hating on something all together.
Yeah,
Everybody
man.
eating in the same thing.
Yep.
Well, so there was
Everybody
one point.
love is the key, but it's
Love
not.
is the key.
Hate.
No,
It's
it's
hate.
hate. It's well,
Hate
it's
is the
shared
key.
hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can get on board with that.
Hate will bring everybody faster together.
Yeah.
in love.
Oh, dude. Well, let me tell you one thing that brought the people who worked at the thing together, and then I'll end my story. Is at one point, we're on the right side, people on the left side and everything. And at one point, while they're recording this lady talking about some bullshit, I don't remember. Someone on the left side, two of the old men started chatting with each other. And like, just like, okay, well, I mean, it wasn't loud. It was, it was whatever. And out of like nowhere, the guy who had the camera snapped his head like it was possessed. And he was like, "Sir, these microphones pick up every noise. You have got to be quiet." And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, he came out hot. He was just like immediately like, "No, these microphones." And I was like, "Oh, fuck me." Yeah, I was like, "Okay, buddy." Like, Jesus Christ.
This whole thing is being transcript.
But it totally was. Like, that's what they were doing. They were recording us. They were, like I said, like getting all of our shit, and so it was crazy, man. But I mean, it was cool. I would totally do it again. I doubt they'll let me, but
do it every day. Would you do it?
I would do that every day. Yeah, dude. That'd be a sweet job.
Yeah, they would probably put you on a 2.5 hours. How you came out. That you're probably on a list for another focus group for something else.
Yeah.
Like tampons.
Because I put a lot about erectile dysfunction in there just to test them. And like, and they were talking about AI and people were like, "I don't understand what AI is." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ. It's going to be a long day."
Stupid. You're old.
Well, it's not even, well, that's exactly what they're like. I wish they would define what AI is. And I'm like, I mean, they define it. It's in it's in the name. Yeah. It means everybody knows that, but I guess not.
It's anal implants.
You know what artificial? Anal implants.
Now I'm into it.
You know the definition of artificial? Do you know the definition of intelligence? No, you don't.
No, they do not. They do not. Halfway there.
That's where it gets you.
Halfway there.
That's where it gets you. It's the intelligence.
Like, I just want to talk to Pook Power himself. Where's the guy with the cowboy hat? And like,
Mr. Pook Power.
Mr. Poop Power.
Mr. Poop Power, I got a bone to pick with you.
He walks in and like, "Ladies."
Electricity, it's like Zeus.
Yeah.
Like all in white and shit. Like
lightning bolts from his hands.
Yeah.
You get power. You get power. You get power.
Yeah.
Like, not you, brown person.
Not you.
Yeah, you get a bill.
I did feel bad. I did feel bad because there was the one lady, like I said, the one very large lady who sat beside me, and there was one very, very large gentleman who was probably equally her like dimensions, except he was shorter, and he had to sit in the very front row. And I was like, I would feel uncomfortable if I had to sit in the front row. I don't know how I got in the back row, probably because I'm tall, but and they were like,
did they tell you where to sit?
Yeah, they had like signs that said, and they were like, "Do not move your signs."
They
fuck around.
They must have had like everything set up. Like,
yeah, I think so. I think I was, but it was cool. It was fun. I'd do it again and take that money and immediately spent it on drugs.
Yeah, bought himself some.
I had to buy some below. On the way out, they were like, "Who wants tacos?" And I was like, "Ooh, tacos are like it'll cost $100 or $200." I'm like, "Only take cash."
It's like tacos. It's got cilantro in it.
Yeah, cilantro, please. I never learned lessons. I'll never learn. I swear it. Please. Yeah, I'm like, really, load them up. Load them up, ladies and gentlemen. What's the most questionable meat you have? All right. Speaking of questionable meat, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more BLZ
questionable meat.
Welcome back to the 187th edition of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. We are so glad you're still with us. We are glad that you're focused in on our group. Took me the whole break to think of that, Fred. Worth it, though. Worth it. I used AI for that, and no one understood it. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something, guys. I try my best even though I'm an old dude, to stay up with the kids and like what's happening in the world of pop culture, I guess, and entertainment. And I just can't
Pop video. No.
Pop. I can't do it because I don't know if I'm too lazy to read or what, but that's when I rely on my good buddy Fred to give me a little dose of what's going on in pop culture. And Fred had told me that P Diddy's latest shenanigans were worthy of a pop culture update.
So yeah, yeah, sure. Well, only thing that we know of right now is that they are starting with the jury selections. So that's pretty much. I mean, it's not a lot.
Oh, okay. I thought they had a defense. I thought they were
the lawyers coming out and saying that,
right?
Basically, there's no case.
Oh, that's right.
Consensual. He was like, "Oh, they were all consensual." All the freak offs were consensual freak offs.
They probably were. I would that. Yeah. I mean,
I think they had a little bit of Bill Cosby juice in there.
Yeah, but can they prove it?
But okay, so my thing is,
was that ketchup?
These parties have been going on. These parties have been going.
It's a bottle of ketchup. I never noticed it until just now. It could have been here for months.
That's about ketchup.
That's right.
Wake up in the middle of the night, need a shot
of some ketchup.
Shot of juice. I just reach over and
I quit drinking energy drinks. Now I just drink ketchup when I need some energy. I need a boost. Just some nice hot ketchup.
But my thing is, these parties have been going on for a while. Like,
sure, well, since the
Diddy
70s,
party, a freak offs ain't nothing new. And if you get invited to a Diddy party,
right, a freak,
know what that's going to entail. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, right. Even if you've never been to one before, you probably know somebody that has. Yeah. And if you ask somebody, hey man, what goes on at the party? Oh man, like it goes down. So what's happening. And yes, there may have been drugs there, and people are doing them, and they're getting drunk and everything. But they're doing that off their own free will, man. Ain't nobody forcing anybody.
So that's what they're saying is
it's all consensual. I believe
what were they alleging? They were alleging like sex trafficking and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's what they were alleging. It wasn't that they were, the freak offs. You do whatever you want. I mean, but
yeah, that's not
well now. So okay. Paying women to come in to have sex, is that considered sexual trafficking?
No, not in California.
Again, I'm not a pervert.
Like if I flew some girls from Ohio out to California just to have sex,
well, if they're your age, that would be
right.
Are they of legal age?
They're legal age.
Yeah, they're grown ass women. They're grown women. Okay. But maybe on the younger side, 24.
Well, I mean, they're
over 18.
About that.
Yeah, over 18.
I mean, I don't know. Let's try it for Alan. Order some Ohio bitches for Fred.
Ohio bitches, man.
Ohio bitches.
Let's see what happens. But there's also, I don't know. I truly don't have any idea, but I would think
I don't know what the law is like.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I think there's the potential to say, yeah, that is prostitution. If you're paying somebody to explicitly to do that, then sure. Mm-hmm. Whether you're flying and then so if that's the case, and then you fly them across state lines, then that would be.
It's. I mean, honestly, I forgot what the charges were, and if it was prostitution, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing for prostitution.
Well, no, they're not saying he's a prostitute. They're saying he's
a sex ring.
It's like a sex ring. It had to do sex. It had to be trafficking.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you move someone across state lines for the explicit reason to bang, as in this situation, that would technically be sex trafficking, I would think. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer anymore. Ever since that episode, I can't.
And I hadn't stayed Holiday Inn for a couple of weeks, so I really don't know.
Well, so Fred, do you think?
Okay, so he has two charges of sex trafficking and 2 charges of transportation to engage in prostitution.
Okay.
So, I mean,
I gotcha.
So
that's
actually,
outside of all the civil cases that we currently have.
okay, so they must have the civil, because I mean, really, if it's just for that, they're really making a big deal for something that.
Well, like I said, I think they're trying to. I believe that's what they wanted. They wanted him to turn so he could.
Right.
So
Well, basically, they just It's just taking. Honestly, in my opinion, it's just taking off of Epstein. They're like, hey, look at what's happening here with P Diddy, but we're not going to tell you about Epstein. And then everything's going to disappear anyway. Whatever. They're like, he's going to turn on everybody. He's already turned, and the government already knows, and the government's going to call Sam Elliott and be like, "What's that in your mouth?"
It also goes to say that many of the most severe allegations related to the racketeering conspiracy charge. This includes accusations of kidnapping, drugging, coercing women into sexual activities, sometimes using firearms or threats of violence.
Right, or as Fred calls it, Wednesday.
So, Wednesday.
Right. Well, hold on. Exactly. Wednesday. He's like, this is the day. So, okay. So we think he's probably still not going to get off on it. Or maybe he is getting
basically
off on
what
it
he's saying, they're accusing him of that. And his lawyer's saying, no. All it was all consensual. When we pointed the gun at the girl, it was all consensual.
She wanted me to point that gun at her.
Yeah, she wanted me to point the gun. She wanted me to drug her and make her do stuff.
She put the gun in my hand and then pointed it at her. And I was like,
she showed up at the house, so that means she wanted to do it.
Yeah.
It goes back to that other app I wanted to design. I wanted to make was called Consensual. That basically it was. When you're gonna have sex, you just had an app, and you have them sign the app, and then they go.
It's
a lot of trust giving your phone to a prostitute. I mean, to a lady.
No. It's an app that they download on it. You download.
Oh, they have to download it too, and then they have
to download it.
Hold on, I have to sign up for an account.
No. Then you sign up for the account, and then you use the tap to pay. You go.
You do like a vagina print or a penis print.
Tap to pay.
Yeah, exactly. It's tap to pay.
Instead of your fingerprints,
you have to when your phone's fucked, that means you can fuck.
Look here, Anna. Look, this is an imprint of her booty hole right here.
Case closed.
Right here, Judge Wapner. He's like, oh, that's hearsay.
There are no two booty holes that are like, just like fingerprints.
Exactly.
All you need to know.
People's court goes in the background when they're coming in. She's accused of suing him, but he's got proof of her booty hole.
Thanks to the booty hole app, or whatever it's called. Thanks to the BLC booty hole app. This case was closed.
I really thought it was going to work. But I couldn't. Another one I couldn't design.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't quite get there. It's hard to do. It's hard to create apps. Well, Fred, speaking of booty holes and weird, gross, stupid stuff, Fred, have you heard of not a nice person named, I can't find her name, and that's probably better actually, named. Okay, anyway, there's a lady in Minnesota, Fred, who admitted going viral, or she's going viral because she admitted, and they got it on video, her calling some kid the N-word at a public park.
Oh, yeah.
Hella crazy racist about it.
Her name is...
I have her name somewhere.
It starts with an S. It starts with an S.
Sluts McGee.
It's kind of...
Yes, Sluts McGee.
No, it's Ashley. No?
Of course it is.
Is it A-S?
I'll find the name.
L-I. I think it's A-S-H-L-I.
Sure. Why wouldn't
Ashley
it be that?
Somebody. Yeah.
So yeah, I failed on this one. So we're not, but that's okay because we don't.
No, it's so fine. We can still talk. Yeah, we don't
care about her name.
We call her Sluts Magoo
we don't care about her.
because we don't prop up the terrorists, Fred.
Right.
We don't negotiate with terrorists on this show. However, apparently she felt the online hate, which totally deserved, because why would you ever call any kid anything like that in any situation, regardless of the color? That's fucked up.
Yeah, that is.
So she started a GoFundMe, but like the equivalent, like the white Christian equivalent of GoFundMe, which is like I'm serious. I'm not even
go fuck yourself.
Give, send, go. It's true. It should be called that. So it's called Give, Send, Go, Fred. It's a Christian crowdfunding platform.
Give, Send, Go.
Right. And so she started it. She started because she just couldn't handle, what happened to her. And then she raised, as of now anyway, which they've kind of taken it down by now, but she's raised $675,000.
As of today,
750.
750.
That's
Jesus.
insane. Who is backing that woman? Like,
all these freaking crazy racist people.
Okay, I got a question. Would you say it
that's
now?
big money behind.
No, would you say it now if you're gonna make $750K?
No.
Look, yeah, hell yeah.
You can, Fred.
Yeah,
you don't stand a chance to make money on that.
I call myself one.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to commit hate crime on myself.
I call my mama.
Well, so yeah, dude, it's crazy. Some of these people have the most racist freaking user handles, like White Unity Will Unite, Black Excellence Fatigue, and Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, but I wonder. I wonder if it's really people. I mean, I'm sure there's a percentage of people, but that much money. I wonder if it's somebody just trying to create trouble.
That's big money behind that's big money behind it. Yeah, it ain't. It ain't grandma and grandpa giving $5-10.
I would think if it was like 10 grand, 15 grand,
it's all and shit.
But you're talking about
there is no way she raised that much money, and it's only been like a couple weeks or something like that. A week or two. There's no way she raised that much money, and just from like little local yokels. You know what I'm saying?
It's
okay. So the incident took place on April 28th, so about a week ago, give or take, from the the time of this recording, in Minnesota, in Rochester, Minnesota. So it says it appears the fundraising page was set up by a person with the same name as the woman who was recorded on the video hurling racist slurs at a child of Somali heritage at a public park. She accused the child of stealing from her son's diaper bag.
Oh, come on.
So she said on their post said that the woman's family had been threatened and that personal information about her, such as her social security number, phone number, and her address, were leaked. Which who fucking cares? NBC News hasn't verified whether that's actually true or if the lady is the one who created the thing, but they said they have to verify that it's actually her before they can give her any money. But
that's insane because that's what I'm saying. Jerry Lewis didn't raise that much money that fast.
No, dude.
There's no way. You know what I mean?
There's got to be something that it just doesn't.
Yeah, that's like I said, there's big money behind it. You know what I mean? They want to push that narrative. They want it. Because I mean, they want that. They want that fucking outrage. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Continue to divide.
Yep. I thought.
Well, so is it okay that I already donated $40 from the show?
Yeah, well, I know you did.
The VLC donated.
I immediately did. I set that page up.
So there's another one. There's another one like that too. Did you hear about the kid who stabbed the black kid who stabbed the white kid?
No,
at like a high school track meet.
The track meet.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, so he did. He stabbed him right in the chest and killed him.
Yeah,
I saw a post today where they were talking. It was an article. I guess it was on X or something like that. And underneath the article, Kyle Rittenhouse commented that this guy, and it kind of confused me because I mean I heard the story, but I didn't really know the names. So evidently the kid who did the stabbing, his name is Carmelo Anthony. And I was like, and Kyle Rittenhouse said Carmelo Anthony should rot in prison for what he did.
Oh no!
And I was like,
"You're like Carmelo, no."
Yeah, I was like, "What the hell did Carmelo Anthony do?"
But
for Kyle Rittenhouse to say that this kid deserves to stay in jail,
right?
It's kind of like the biggest oxymoron. That
yeah.
You
know what
I mean? Like you did the same.
It's like if you have anything to do with anything like that, man, you keep your mouth shut, no matter who you are.
Well, you should, unless you feel like unless you feel a level of safety and comfort that you should not feel, in like society. Well, Fred, let me tell you. Speaking of safety and comfort in society, I got a big one for you.
But his parents, Fred, his GoFundMe had over $500,000.
Good. Well, to help hopefully with his legal defense, or are you talking about the white guy?
Both sides did.
Oh, okay.
Like both sides have raised money. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't want to we try not to get into this stuff too much, but was this like a thing?
Sometimes
where, yeah. I mean, it's realistic. Like realistically, we need to like we've talked about before. You're either pro it or against it, and if you don't say what you're into, you're automatically the other thing. Yeah. So, because silence is an answer too. Saying nothing is still saying something. So, Fred, was this a situation where, and again, I don't know, where the kid who did the stabbing was like being bullied, or were they giving him
so the situation that I get it is so there was a track meet, and both of these kids are from different schools.
Okay.
Carmelo was sitting under a tent for the school of the victim, and the victim came over and told him, hey, this is for our school. You can't sit up under here. And the guy, Carmelo pretty much said, leave me alone. You can't tell me what to do. Blah blah blah. And the victim tried to forcibly remove him from the tent, and the kid went in his bag, grabbed a knife, and plunged it right in.
Man, that's tragic.
So like
that's tragic.
I mean, it's tragic on both ends. You know what I mean?
It was a disagreement that just
I mean,
not even a disagreement.
My opinion,
misunderstanding.
Dude didn't even have to do that though. Like, you know what I mean? You could have just fought the guy. You know what I mean? You could have just
100%. Back in our day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And another bad part about it is the victim, he had a twin brother that was there, and like dude died in his arms. Like it's a tragic story. It's tragic.
It's tragic. It doesn't matter who's at fault.
Right. So just but like I said before, if you don't say what you're for, you're saying what you're against. Or whatever,
right?
Or whatever it is. So let me make it very clear that the Black Lincoln Collective podcast is anti-stabbing.
Oh hell yeah!
Anti-murder and anti-twins
and anti-calling little kids racial slurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, anti-GoFundMe.
This is Freddie yelling at somebody, and this is telling somebody to shut up.
Right.
Not only shut up, shut the fuck
up.
Well, Fred, so like I said, things are changing. The world is
now. I think personally, they should drug screen them both kids and see what kind of medications they were taking, and that could probably tell you everything.
Yeah.
If they're on SSRIs, because you're not thinking correctly.
Right.
Sure. Well, but also,
I mean, at least I think these kids were like track stars though, like or at least on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. You're not thinking correctly.
A lot of pressure, So anyway, so speaking of not thinking correctly, Fred, let me ask you a question. When it comes to thinking and drinking, what's your favorite soda pop?
Huh?
Or do you have a favorite soda? Are you a Coke man, a Pepsi man,
a
Royal Crown man?
It just. Yeah,
Freddie was like,
we're changing. I've been trying to tease this like 4 times, and every time Alan jumps in with some RFK shit, so I had to just push on through.
I'm a Coke guy. I like Coke.
Coke is your preference, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, Fred,
Pepsi's okay.
Pepsi's second. Alan, how about you? You're a Coke guy, I believe.
No, I like Pepsi.
Pepsi guy. I am a Pepsi guy as well because the Pepsi Max is my favorite one.
Yeah.
But I will say, my wife got a cherry Coke the other day, and I was like, I took a sip, And I was like, holy shit, that's fucking amazing. Like, I haven't had a cherry Coke in a long time.
Coke. Yeah.
Well, I think Coke is just false advertisement.
Well,
because it doesn't have Coke in it.
Right, not anymore. But anyway, well,
Not
Fred,
anymore.
listen to this. Listen to me and Alan's shame here and sadness.
Mm.
Fred, Pepsi was once Coca-Cola's main rival, as we all knew that. But now it has slipped so far back that it's not even in the top 3 sodas in America anymore.
What?
So
Pepsi?
Last year, Pepsi, it's dropping, man. So we know Coca-Cola, USA is number 1 favorite soda, right? Do you want to guess what number 2? I think we talked about this maybe last year, but I probably did.
Well, see, it's hard for that because, like,
there are only so
most
many
sodas made by the same company.
Well, yeah, but like, still, if you said, "Hey, what's your favorite soda?" you would say,
"Yeah,
I like Sprite, or I like Mountain Dew, or I like Dr. Pepper, or I like Pepsi, or I like Coke." Whatever.
I like the Pepsi Cola bottling company.
That's right. I like Pepsi Cola bottling company, products. Brew number 814. Only made in America. But anyway, so tariff that, America. So, Fred, what do you think? Like you said, up until last year, we were like, oh, it's solidly Coke number 1, Pepsi number 2.
Yeah.
Pepsi's always been the rebel bad boy soda.
Right.
For us badasses like me and Alan,
That's right.
Yeah, because we're willing to walk one aisle over and get a Pepsi instead of a Coke.
That's right.
And I'm mad because Coke started doing the stupid name thing again, and now every stupid Coke I drink has a name on it, and it makes me mad because then I feel like you don't name, just like you don't name a pig, Fred, if you're going to slaughter it. You don't name a Coke if I'm going to have to drink it, because then I'm like, oh, poor Lyle. Sorry, Lyle.
You get one. Yeah, like all your Cokes are the one with dudes' names.
Yeah, and I'm like, God,
you never get one.
Yeah.
Like, I got a Sarah. Put that back. Or whatever.
No thanks.
Tony.
Yeah, I want this chimichanga. Whose name is that? Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Fred, last year, like I said, it's Coke number 1, or before last year, Coke number 1, Pepsi number 2. Last year, I would say probably the most well-marketed soda outside of Coke jumped up to number 2. Would you like to take a guess what that is?
Sprite.
No, not quite.
Mountain Dew.
Nope. Try again.
It's not
not Mountain Dew.
Nope. Dr. Pepper.
Really?
That makes sense.
Last year, Dr. Pepper.
They do have a big campaign, budget, especially with the college football.
Right. So I mean, it makes sense that they're up there, Yeah. So especially that. Well, so that made it Coke, Dr. Pepper, then Pepsi, then Sprite. Pepsi. Okay. Yeah. Well, this year, Fred, Sprite has made the move and jumped on up over Pepsi as well into third place.
Really?
So now, Fred,
those are all Coke products.
Yeah. So here's how it breaks down, Fred. Coke is the undisputed king, $97 billion in the soda industry last year. That's 19.1% of the market. Okay. According to Beverage Digest, Sprite accounted for 8% of the market, 8.03% of the market in 2024, which edged out Pepsi's 7.97%. And Dr. Pepper holds strong at second with 8.3%. So there you go.
Yeah, Coke
Pepsi's on the way out.
Yeah, Coke is just...
Coke is a beast, man.
Well, Coke's hard to beat. Like, Coke is,
Coke products itself. I mean, you're talking to the top 3 are just Coke products.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Pepper's not owned by Coke.
Yeah.
No, Dr. Pepper's independent.
No. Dr. Pepper's owned by Coke, except in Texas. In Texas, it's independent, but everywhere else in the States, it tastes different in Texas.
There you go. Now you know.
Everything tastes different in Texas.
It tastes twice as sugary.
It's twice as big. The bottles are twice as big.
It went to medical school twice as long.
Yeah.
Keurig. Owns Dr. Pepper.
Oh, there you go.
Keurig.
That makes perfect sense.
But no, Dr. Pepper is a Coke product.
Uh-oh.
When you go, like, for example,
Dr. Pepper is made by Keurig.
Well,
Dr. Pepper.
Sure.
The company
Dr. Pepper,
formerly known as Dr. Pepper Snapple Group merged with Keurig Green Mountain in 2018 and is now a major soft drink company.
I believe that they have contracts with those beverage vendors to have Dr. Pepper in like every store. Like, because I think even if you go to a Pepsi store.
No, because if you go to, like, for example, Zaxby's is a Coke product, they have Dr. Pepper's. Yep. But if you go to Taco Bell, which is a Pepsi product, they don't have Dr. Pepper.
Oh, they do have Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, they do have Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
While it's its own separate company, Keurig Dr. Pepper owns the brand. It does not have its own bottling facilities.
Right.
So instead, it contracts with both Pepsi and Coca-Cola bottlers to distribute Dr.
That's
Pepper.
The smartest move of all.
Yeah. What about Mr. Pibb?
That is.
Yeah. Mr. Pibb is not.
That's Walmart. No. Is it not?
Mr. Pibb is at Waffle House.
Yeah, that's true. So there you go, guys. So now you know, Fred. Pepsi's on the way out. I guess I have to drink more Pepsi now to bring the company back.
Yeah, Pepsi's on the way out, it seems.
Still my favorite. So, Fred, I have one more, and this is a weird one, I think. I want to get you guys' opinion on it. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we've talked about AI a few times in this episode. We've talked about AI a lot on our show in general. Well, Fred, we had a first of its kind AI assisted trial, I guess would be the way to say it. An Arizona road rage victim speaks to his killer through the use of artificial intelligence.
What?
So I'm going to share this with you guys so we can watch it and you can see. First of all,
did they upload his conscious?
I don't feel like that's what they did. I feel like it was more you just have to watch it. Okay, hold on. Let me let you
it's
see
like that movie with Johnny Depp.
Does he come in like, no, it's Max Headroom? Hi.
You wouldn't be that wrong. So this comes courtesy of our friends from Fox 10.
A road rage incident speaks in court from beyond the grave.
Yeah, it happened during the victim impact statements directed at the killer. Fox 10's Nicole Christine has the details tonight.
Okay, so
to Gabriel Horcasitas, the man who shot me. It is a shame we encountered each other that day in those circumstances.
Chris Pelkey's voice and likeness ringing out in a courtroom 3.5 years after his death. But how?
This is not good
let
radio,
Chris
by the way.
tell you.
Sorry, guys.
I am a version of Chris Pelkey recreated through AI that uses my picture and my voice profile.
The artificial intelligence.
See how the mouth is all
video,
wackadoodle though?
An idea that Chris's big.
So we're not gonna watch all this, but
no,
needless to say,
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy because like I've seen the ads for that like app where you can put in the old pictures and make it move.
Then it
make them sing and
we do that at work because we create a lot of like videos that are short. We don't necessarily have time to record someone recording it, so we create what's called an avatar, and then that avatar reads the script that the person wrote and writes.
No fucking avatar is that.
It's kind of crazy.
Avatar, like in the blue guys.
Yeah, they're all blue.
Pandora.
Exactly.
They fuck with their tails.
It's a representation. We did stick our tails together a lot, but
I will save you, Jake.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that app though, like where you could like pretty much like bring the dead back to life.
Crazy.
And I was like, nah, I ain't no way.
No, you're not doing. You're not fucking around that.
I miss my grandparents like hell, but like,
same.
I don't know. That's just too weird.
So,
man.
What do you guys think about? Have either one of you watched this season's Black Mirror?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I had a
new one.
No,
okay. I watched the first 3 episodes. I'm trying to save them because I love it. And
yeah. Well, we'll talk about it later on. I don't want to spoil it, but needless to say, I feel like that is really weird. I feel like you remember how outraged people were with the Tupac hologram a few years ago.
Yes.
Like, how fucked up would it be, like, for his kid or something to be there, and then they throw up this fucking AI version of him who's like, "Hey, killer, guy who killed me, we could have been friends if we would have met, not in a road rage incident." That's fucked up.
That's terrible.
Yeah, but that's not him because he.
Right.
You know,
that's
how do you know he would say that? I think he would be like, "Hey, guy who killed me, fuck you, man. I don't get to see my kids because you. Fuck you, man. You know, I hope you burn in hell."
No emotion in it. There's no emotion.
So here's the craziest thing, okay? So the AI says this, right? His name is Chris, whatever. In another life, we probably could have been friends. I believe in forgiveness and in God who forgives. I always have and still do. So that was his like last thing. And then the judge, this is why I know we are cooked. The judge says, I love that AI. Thank you for that. I felt like that was genuine, and that his obvious forgiveness of Mr. Horace, whatever, reflects the character I heard about today. So the judge thinks that it's a real person, even though bro is dead.
So who came up with that idea? The defense?
His sister did.
Well, his sister fucked it up. His sister actually gave the guy who gave him leniency because the judge is like, well, he forgave him. Yeah. I guess we should, go, no, fuck yourself, man. You killed my family.
Man,
Would you like to guess how long the guy got after all this? AI
6 years.
Probation. I thought he said he shot him.
Yeah, it was a road rage incident. He killed him.
Yeah, he gave him 6 years.
Let's see. No, they gave him 13 years after all that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's
what happens. I just think it's crazy that. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's not. I mean,
what state was that in?
That was in, I believe, in Arizona.
Eye for an eye, man.
Oh, hey, 13 years in an Arizona prison is like
sounds like 13 years in Arizona prison. I'm sure they have AC in
there. That's fucking hardcore. Man.
I think you got to have AC there.
It'll be like the prison.
No, you ain't seen them dudes.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's the
guy. They make him dry in pink.
Put the motherfuckers in pink underwear and got him outside and shit.
Yeah, I remember him, that guy.
It'd be like a prison like in Benji.
I mean, I don't know if he's still out there.
I think he died. I think that guy died.
No, I don't think he got reelected. Probably he were,
Well, I think his name was like Joe Arcia or something like that.
Yeah, Joe.
Because he was like, Joe. Oh no, that's Joe Garcia. Who the fuck is that?
Joe Garcia.
That's not him, but it said prison. Hey, let's see. Pink underpants. Damn it.
Yeah, pink jumpsuit. It was jumpsuits.
This is not going to help my fucking thing. Okay, that was Maricopa County. Oh yeah, we used to watch the show on that one where they did that. What was the guy's name? Some weird name. So stupid name. Paul Pizzoni, I guess.
Paul Pizzoni.
It was
Joe Arpaio. That's who it was. But now he's gone, and now
it was Kowalski.
Paul Pizzoni won it. Kowalski.
Kowalski.
Yeah.
Kowalski. I seen it the other day, and there was a cop named Kowalski in it.
Yeah, and you're like, "Yep, nailed it."
I couldn't remember the show either, man. Damn it, I was supposed to remember.
The BLC podcast wins again. Just like all these people were talking about this fucking. I've been seeing all these people talking about the retarded AI, not retarded. I'm sorry, the Down syndrome AI influencer thing we talked about a few weeks ago. The situation is not the thing. I'm allowed to say it once.
I got a bunch of editing to do.
Yeah, I got to put Alan to work this week because he's been doing a shitty job. So there you go.
Yeah, I just let it go because we've been doing good.
I know, and I can't let that happen. Keep happening. All right.
So last night we were out here doing the meeting, right? And I heard my wife like going off on the kids inside, like while we were finishing up. And I'll go inside. And I'm like, what's going on in here? And they were like watching a show called Found. A show called Found. It's where it's an organization that finds people that are missing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying pretty much. And in this episode, there was like 2 Down
Paul
syndrome.
Gossler's in it.
He is, yeah. Zach Morris, yeah.
Yeah.
And there were 2 Down syndrome kids in it. And she was like, I was like, what's going on? They were here like laughing and picking on them. And I was like, you can't do that, y'all.
No, you're not supposed to do that.
When I got in there, they weren't on the screen. And then when they came on the screen,
they were AI.
That's parenting.
Because she looked like Drew Barrymore. Oh. And all I kept saying in my head was Boo Barrymore.
That That's like, so my wife tried to make me watch that Love on the Spectrum thing.
Yeah,
and I can't watch it. I can't.
Oh yeah, I used to watch that with Hunter.
No, dude.
I would watch it with Hunter. I would watch it. It was like, I mean, but when you first watched it, like I'm gonna be, honest, at the first 10 minutes that I watched it, I was the same way. I was like, I can't watch this, man, because I'm gonna feel bad. But at the end of the show, I was like, this is not a bad show. There, this is pretty cool.
That's not how I would feel.
It just caught me off guard. Man.
Yeah, you're not expecting it.
I got the giggles, and then I just.
It was like the other sister.
Came in my fucking shit.
Right, and that's why I can't watch the other sister anymore because I
Right.
So there you go. Now you know, everybody.
Fucking terrible.
All right, guys. We'll get out of here, and we will do this again next week. The brand new episode. Hey, we're gonna have some guests on sometime soon, but we don't know when. But we'll tell you later. Right on, guys. Rock and roll.
All right.
BL.
Be safe.
Yes, BLC.
Yeah,
BL safe.
Be safe, bitch.
Blueberry more.
Blueberry more.
Blueberry more.
Blueberry more.
I couldn't help it, man. I'm sorry.
I know. It's okay. We've all been there.
I'm so sorry.
Watch what you say. Alan hasn't stopped the show yet. So
no, I haven't. I was just like,
waiting, dude.
Let me dig a little bit more for that gold.
Bye-bye, everybody.